Welcome back to The Explainer, everyone. Today, we're unpacking a genuinely fascinating topic. We're looking at how one of the biggest fast food giants on the planet is tapping into this wild cultural phenomenon called Newstalgia. Basically, McDonald's is dropping a brand new summer menu, and they're doing it in a way that perfectly meshes our fondest drive-thru memories with modern cravings. I am so excited to get into this with you, so let's just dive right in.
Let me ask you a question. Do you remember the 2000 snack wrap era? If you're a millennial or Gen Z, there's a very good chance that a simple tortilla wrapped around crispy chicken, cheese, and a punchy sauce was basically a food group for you growing up. It was a golden age of fast food, right? Well, the executives over at McDonald's definitely remember it too, and they know exactly how much we all miss it.
Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The 2000s nostalgia wave, and when salads ruled the drive-thru. To really get the genius behind this new menu drop, we have to look at the chain's, honestly, pretty interesting relationship with the Caesar flavor profile. Back in the early 2000s, McDonald's actually sold Caesar salads. They had breaded and grilled chicken versions, and believe it or not, people absolutely loved them. They were filling, they were light, but then, 2020 happened. The pandemic hit, and McDonald's officially axed its entire salad lineup to streamline their operations. Just like that, the greens were gone. But while the actual salads disappeared, our craving for that punchy, savory flavor never really went away. Fast forward to July 2026, and the Caesar flavor is making a triumphant return, just in a very, very different format. I mean, just look at this contrast. The old way was your traditional leafy green Caesar salad. It was the quote-unquote moderately healthy option for fast food. The new way? Well, the new way is smothering deep-fried chicken and thick-cut applewood smoked bacon with a rich Caesar sauce. It is such a hilarious, playful pivot from a healthy early 2000s salad to this purely indulgent 2026 reality. They've literally taken the best part of the salad, the dressing, and dragged it squarely into the comfort food zone.
So, what exactly are we getting? Here's Section 2. Meet the Caesar lineup, dropping July 21st.
This isn't just a single item. We're talking about a massive extension of their chicken platform. Let's start with the heavy hitter. Imagine this build for the new Bacon Caesar McCrispy, a soft, toasted potato roll holding a huge, savory McCrispy fillet. Then they stack on thick-cut applewood smoked bacon, fresh shredded lettuce, and Roma tomatoes. For that incredible crunch, they throw on crispy onions and tangy, crinkle-cut pickles. And finally, tying the whole shebang together, a generous layer of Caesar-style sauce. Notice what's missing here? No heavy mayo, no spicy sauce. It is entirely replaced by the bright, savory notes of the Caesar. But for a lot of us, this is the number that really matters, $2.99. This is the highly anticipated price point for the brand new Caesar snack wrap. For under $3, you're getting a soft tortilla wrapped tightly around a crispy chicken strip, shredded cheese, crisp lettuce, and that new creamy Caesar sauce. I mean, in today's fast food economy, having that affordable, handheld blast from the past is an absolutely brilliant strategic move. And check out how this builds out the rest of the menu. The standalone McCrispy Strips have gotten a massive upgrade too. They're now coated in a panko-style breading for absolute maximum crunch. The chain specifically reformulated these strips so that they act as the ultimate, sturdy vessel for dunking straight into their new standalone sauce. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, the star, Caesar sauce, and why it's a whole lot more than just a dressing. We really need to transition away from the food items for a second to talk about the absolute star of the show here. Now, what's really interesting about this is how McDonald's officially defines the product. In their own press release, they call the Caesar sauce a creamy, savory Parmesan blend infused with subtle notes of lemon and garlic that is bright, flavorful, and fresh. Wow, right? That is a surprisingly gourmet description for a fast food dip. It elevates it way beyond your standard ketchup packet. When you break down the actual flavor profile, you get that creamy Parmesan base, accented by classic garlic and lemon. But here's the real secret weapon. It's heavily vinegar forward. Actually, if you look at the ingredient label, vinegar is literally the third ingredient. That means the sauce acts as a much brighter, tangier dip compared to, say, the heavy sweetness of their barbecue or the rich buttermilk of their ranch. Of course, marketing copy is one thing, but how does it actually taste? Let's shift gears to Section 4, early taste test reviews, and see what the word on the street is. So a few dedicated YouTube reviewers managed to get their hands on this menu early, and their insights are super revealing. First up is YouTuber The Endorsement. He grabbed the Bacon Caesar McCrispy, which rang in at $6.69 by the way. He noted that the chicken fillet itself was actually a little dry, which is a fairly common critique of the baseline sandwich, but the Caesar sauce swooped right in to save the day, elevating the whole meal enough for him to give it a solid passing grade of 84 out of 100. Basically, the sauce successfully masked the imperfections of the chicken.
On the flip side, we've got a slightly contrasting review from YouTuber Redneck Snack. He ordered a side of chicken McNuggets specifically to test the Caesar sauce completely solo. He found the sauce to be, in his words, aggressively tangy, noting that the heavy vinegar hit made it taste almost closer to a vinaigrette than a heavy cream sauce. For a solo dip, he gave it a 7 out of 10, pointing out that the intense flavor profile might be a little polarizing for some folks.
And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world consensus we're seeing. As a standalone dip, the sauce's high acidity is sharp, maybe a little too sharp for just a simple nugget. But check out Redneck Snack's second test. He gave the actual Caesar chicken sandwich a perfect 10 out of 10. He praised the crouton-inspired crisps for adding incredible bounce and texture. So when that acidic sauce is paired up with rich bacon, a soft potato bun, and fried chicken, it completely balances out the meal.
Let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. Section 5, the sauce-centric menu trend, and the macro QSR strategy.
Why is fast food suddenly so obsessed with condiments? Well, the crucial point is perfectly summarized by industry analysts at Trend Hunter, who identified 3 key pillars at play here. Number 1, sauce-centric menus. It's incredibly cost-effective for a restaurant to just mix up a new sauce rather than inventing a whole new protein from scratch. It's a low-complexity path to flavor discovery. Number 2, chicken platform extensions. Everything we've looked at today, the wraps, the strips, the sandwich, they all share the exact same core ingredients, just rearranged. And number 3, Newstalgia flavors. By taking a classic, comforting flavor like Caesar and presenting it in a novel way, brands hit our craving for the past while signaling something exciting and new. It's just an absolutely genius way to drive massive menu hype without reinventing the wheel.
And honestly, the best part of all this is that McDonald's is entirely in on the joke. I have to read this quote directly from their corporate press release. They wrote, "Because when you add Caesar, it's basically a salad, right?" I love that. They know exactly what they're doing. They're taking that healthy halo of a 2000 salad, throwing out the greens, and swapping it for deep-fried comfort, all with a total wink to the customer.
Which leaves us with this final, genuinely provocative thought to chew on. As we see entire menus being built around a single condiment, has sauce officially replaced the main course as the real reason we eat out? Are the chicken strips and the wraps basically just edible spoons for the real star of the show? It's definitely something to think about the next time you hit the drive-thru. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found this breakdown as fascinating as I did, and I'll catch you next time.